So here we go. This is the follow-up videos to the plugin submission. Sorry it's taken me so long. Of course, I have work to do, and I'm a big procrastinator, which can be costly because this does have it is time sensitive. So I got an email. Let's start with that. Where's my email? Right here. So I got this email. Gosh, it's already been a while, but had to work through all these items along with everything else that I had to do in life, etc. But here we go. So before we go through this, I just wanted to let you know that I got this email as a response, and we'll go through this a little more here in just a second. But basically, it was like done by an AI bot. It looks like, and they kind of checked the syntax, etc., and gave me this feedback. So again, we'll go through it really quickly. Right now, um, I've done all these items, as I mentioned. I'll go through them again. I've addressed them. Some of them I've left like they were, and we'll see what happens. So what we're going to do right now is try to get this submitted. So my checklist is these guys, which is the plugin description all right, which I had a real short one. Am I the rightful owner? So they wanted me to use a different email because I was using my Hotmail, which we'll move over to that. Have you checked for common technical issues? And we'll go over all that. So right now I'm back here. So let's start here. Actually, go down a little further. So the next steps is if there is something that needs to be fixed, please take your time and fix them and update your plugin and go to the add plugin page, which I'm there. So I did all that. Pretty much I addressed everything. So I'm going to just submit it right now if I can. I've made sure that I've got the proper, right, and correct code here being to be submitted. I'm going to go ahead and do that right now if I can get there. So here we are. Basically, the current was initially continued. Sorry, I'm just reading myself. Um, that's some stats on what the other plugins. I was kind of reading myself. But either way, so here we are. Add your plugin, and it right away it says you have one plugin being reviewed, which I'm glad I got that message. That means that hey, haven't been forgotten about. So I'm not gonna check with plugin check. I probably should, but I'm not gonna. I'll check it later because I kind of already did that. Not kind of. I actually did that, so that's why I'm skipping this. Um, so I went through all this. Where's my guy? Where's the submission thing? Back here. So upload new version of Siwa contact for review. Add additional information. So select file. Let me select file. Whoa. Select file. And I've got it in my. Oh, I'm trying to keep my docs better organized here. That's not it. And this is the one that I'm using for submission. Yes, 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 that's correct. That makes sense because my other one. So this one doesn't include pictures, which we'll talk about that. Images rather. Pictures, same thing. So it's a lot smaller. So that's the guy. I'm pretty sure I went over it and over it and went over it and over it. So so it told me like when I add, let's see, review status being reviewed. Status. This plugin is currently waiting on action from you. Please check your email, etc. Currently assigned to this guy. See what contact form, my slug. Additional information. So in the email, it says don't go crazy with telling them everything I did. It's kind of what I wanted to do. Tell them everything I did. Let's go back to my email. Where is it? Here we go. I think I got my email going here. It says, um, so right here, please be concise and do not list the changes done. Well, I was going to do that, and we will review. But do share any clarification or important context you want us to know. So based on that, I kind of had a communication all ready to go here, but it was kind of just like it said not to do is don't tell us everything you've done. Um, I'll just kind of clarify where it needs to be clarified, which would be that I'm checking for permissions on some of my actions, but I'm returning true, so I'm not really checking for permissions. I'm just uh, I've got that function in there, and the reason I went to the trouble of putting a function and not using it is because they may say something, but we'll go through more of this if you want. But basically, when I check the user, it's coming back as the system user, so it doesn't give me an array of permissions like WP user or whatever. So I tried those different functions. Maybe I'm using the wrong one. So I'm just telling him, look, I know about this, and it allows for not using permissions when you're doing public, like database access, whatnot. You really just opening it up to the public, but they want you to explain it. So I'm going to explain this. Um, Stuff like this I've taken care of. That's kind of just fluff that they don't need to know. Um, the and queuing of the scripts again. So 3 and 4 I'll include because um, I want them to know that I left some of the JS in the front because or I didn't enqueue it. I just left it on the page on the module because I'm actually pulling a PHP variable, and I'll show you all where I'm doing that. I'm pulling a PHP variable right into the JavaScript function. So I that really need that to be there in the PHP module, not in the JS module. I am prepared if they just want everything enqueued and don't allow me to do that. I'm prepared to just go ahead and refactor that somehow. I'll make it work a different way. So those are the two things I'll explain. So let me just copy this and really quickly. Um, without Velcro. And that tells them what they need. Hopefully, yes, I included scripts, JS, and CSS, but I left certain ones in the front end because of PHP variables being, as I explained to you guys. So we'll see what they say. Again, I'm prepared to refactor if needed. Make this like this, and then the other guy, which is I hope you don't mind any little bit of code here. Also, so I said I added the two functions using this look like. I added the two functions using permission callback parameter. Both return true unconditionally, as these are handled by the system user ID with no other authorization attributes. So there's no array, as I mentioned. And we'll see what they say regarding that. And I just kind of I'll say code snippets here. And I'll say encode, something like that. I have addressed all other items mentioned in the email. Did I do it? Did I do it already? Is it up there? I forgot. Let me just load it again here. Plugin submission, 18 kilobytes. That sounds about right. Let's go with it. And upload. Bam. So just doing this to basically to catalog my work and to show you guys what you would be up against if you wanted to do the same thing. So it looks like something happened here as I was speaking. What does this say? Okay, so it looks like I wasn't paying attention. I was running my face. Before your plug, okay, before you submit your plugin, we ask you the guidelines, frequently asked questions, and I should do more of that. But I mean, I've done it already, so I should probably do more though. I should probably go over it because make sure you understand it. And you always find something you might have missed. So it says here in this green box, new version of Siwa contact form uploaded for review. So that apparently that wasn't there. Hopefully, I can look at my video later. Um, Please respond to the review email to let us know and address any feedback that was given to you. So it looks like, oh wow, there it is. Okay, so there's my thing, my message. 3 have you checked? And there's my answer, and there's this guy. Okay, so it looks like check plugin. Okay, once submitted, your plugin will be manually reviewed for any other common errors will ensure it complies. So I'll continue to look at it at this point. To see if I can further address the lingering items that I just mentioned here, like the enqueuing of the JS files and the CSS files. I don't know why I didn't do all the CSS, but we'll find out. And again, I mean, I can do there's other ways to pass variables to the front end besides just straight PHP. Maybe I can do some kind of Ajax or something. Either way, so here we are. That's my notes. It's been submitted. Let's go really quickly over what I did, and then we probably in this video we will review the code a little bit in more detail. So let me get rid of some of these extra windows if I can get to them. So when I first got this email, it's been a while, and again, I'm glad that I responded to it because there's some kind of like 3 months time limit, and I took just about all that time. It's a big email. Okay, so WP Edward, let's improve your plugin. So this looks like, and I just flagged this. It didn't come in from been flagged. From the WordPress team. Thank you for your submission. And before your plugin reaches human reviewer, our automated tools, which help the team handle 1,000 plugin reviews per week, have flagged a few potential issues that you might need to address. To avoid delays and help streamline the manual review process, we've appended your submission to give you a chance to review and fix these common issues. I should probably go ahead and respond to this email as a kind of a multi-layer communication, multimedia communication back to these guys. And these guys are great about responding, and it's been my experience. So, okay, so it's a great team, by the way. I mean, I'm not just saying it because you don't always get that enough to where you want to compliment somebody. I'm not just snowballing. This is I'm reading here. This is an automated message and generate. So this is like a bot that did this. Who are we? We are a group of volunteers that help identify common issues. You can make your plugin more secure, etc., or consistency, etc. What does it say? Your plugin will be assigned to a single reviewer. That's great. So they really kind of take you by the hand in this process, which I like. You do your part, and they will do theirs. This here, what is this? The review process. So I can go over this real quick. Read this email in full, which I have. I've kind of gone over it and over it before I started even working on it. I fixed the issues. I actually tried and had successfully fixed all the issues that were there. One of them was, that I accidentally included in my first submission all the images, which they don't need that. And that's something that I can handle when I get my repository, which I'll be very happy when that happens because I feel like I've, kind of made headway in something like this. Your plugin is manually checked by a volunteer. And we'll keep after it, no matter if it comes back, we'll do another fix, and this time we'll be more stringent about our fates. Why weren't we stringent this time? I guess I'm trying to find out, what I can get away with. Because I see a lot of stuff out there. If you run a plugin check, like that plugin checker on any plugin that you guys get over there, whether it's AskMed or whatever, they've all got issues. So either way, here we go. So there's a bunch of that. We'll continue back with this email. I just want to go ahead and kind of take a break here. Understanding the review queue. Um, when you reply, your plugin enters a review queue again. Here we go. Fewer review cycles mean quicker approval, and I know that. So I'm not gonna. If it gets pushed back, I'm gonna really, like I say, do exactly as they say. Not to. And what? Okay. Again, I'm just trying to see what I can get away with. Carefully fix all issues and test your plugin before resubmitting. Speed up approvals. This process is designed to help you improve. So then it gets into the actual items, and we'll go over that. But let me just do a quick cursory overview of the main items. So here, I didn't have enough of a description in my README file, which is very important for them. The README file. Are you the rightful owner? So I was using this email, the edward.delgado@hotmail, which is my personal email. So they want me to use like something a little more professional, like my website email, which is I've done. Hopefully they'll accept it. They were, let's see, they were complaining about the enqueuing process, because I had left a lot of JS, and we've talked about this, CSS right in the front end module, and they want it all enqueued. I told them what's going on with my variables that I'm pulling from PHP backend, and that I'm prepared to refactor if I need to. They're also wanting me to do a oh, okay. So that's with with the register setting. They wanted me to sanitize the fields of the register settings, like um, the register settings, and I don't have it pulled up right now, but have to do with like the settings of what settings I'm going to use in the application. Like, for example, am I going to use first name, or am I going to search by first name? Am I going to search by any other fields? And those are settings that are in the settings in the options table that need to be sanitized. And that was easy enough to do because they have these sanitized text field is a function that WordPress already has built out for you. So I did that, and then the other thing was the well, it gave me a bunch of examples of where I needed to do it, and I did it on all those. And then finally, the permission callback. On a lot of items, like especially on the database calls, they want me to check the permissions, which I talked about already, and it gave me a bunch of examples. And we'll review this again. And that I had included all these JPEGs that I didn't need to include in my submission, so I made sure that they weren't in there this time. And then allowing direct file access, so I made sure that these guys, if it's not the abs path, then quit. And that's it. So that's where we're at currently. Let me see if there's anything else I need to review. Give it a little bit. Starting. So here we are. What I want to do is just review some of these items from the email and the code that the changes that we made. I also want to point out a couple of sticking points, and then email these guys and let them know that, hey, I probably wouldn't mind having an ombudsman of sorts to help guide me in getting this thing pushed in to where I need to go. One of the things I need to do is forward this big long email to my where's the forward thing, to my West Coast data account. I couldn't think of it. So it's called admin at there, and just say forward. Because I've already said it, so I'll just, see below, and I'll pull it up over here. If it comes in, okay. Is that it? Oh, you recently requested having email address. Okay, well that's fine. Here's the other one. Hopefully, other emails. Come on, quit jumping around. WordPress directory. Okay, this is the thing that I got from when I resubmitted it, so it's okay. Waiting on my guy here. Well, let's see if it went. Wait a little bit longer. Anyway, and get started over here. So, let's pull up the email. If it doesn't arrive here, surely this is it. Let's go here. What? Oh, this is EDD. That's not what I want. I want this guy. Finally made it in. So let's just go over this really quickly, and we'll go over the code and point out a couple of sticking points, and forward this on over with my have like a communication in my project folder. I need to get better organized and stuff. But okay, here we go. Again, check error experience. Maybe it's in here. Yeah, I moved it here. So I'm just going to forward this whole thing over to this, copy and paste this whole thing, which I think is rather explanatory. I just went bullet item by bullet item. They understand the bullet items, so they know what section I'm referring to when I'm answering. And but I'll just kind of do this as a postscript to letting them know that I'm anxious to get this in there correctly and wouldn't mind the help. They're very helpful from my experience, as I keep saying. All right, so I guess I'm hoping too, right? So then let's go down the list. So we kind of went over this email. Let's go over the code a little bit, the issues. First thing is it was asking about the description, and before it had like nothing in there. So I went to the description. Let me just go here. In my, where is it? It's not in it. I opened the wrong spot. Um, is that not it? Oh, plugins. Okay. I'm trying to be quick because I don't want like making very long videos, and I didn't want to have to break this up into two parts because I didn't think it was necessary. So excuse me for going quickly. So again, okay, so here we're looking at the code. That is fresh what I submitted. This is also going to be up in the repository, which I'll provide a link to my Atlassian Bitbucket. So the first thing, yeah, is looking at the wanting to know about the description. So to the README file at the very beginning, I guess this whole thing is a description. It goes down quite a ways. So I provided a lot more information than before. Actually, well, without going too much farther into, what all I did, I just know that it's kind of a more of a elevator pitch on what this thing is and what it can do, and talks about the fields that it captures and usage and screenshots and whatnot. And I know that this is going to need more work, and I know I keep saying, well, I want to see what I can get away with, and that's not really true in the sense that I'm saying it, because I know I've got to follow the rules as far as um, variable naming and parsing things on the front end and queuing things. So everything's going to be done by the book, but here I'm just wanting to um, since it's just a README file, and it wouldn't involve a big change to correct it, because I gotta make sure that I may want to for sure change these screenshots at some point. So just corrections that'll make it better. Um, are you the rightful owner of? So I hope I answered this first question. Basically, the description. Secondly, are you the rightful owner of the plugin? Because I was, as I mentioned, I was using my personal email when I started all this, and I knew not to do that, but I had forgotten. So now I'm just gonna, I already updated my WP Edward account with my admin email instead of my edward.delgado@hotmail.com. So I let them know that. And that's basically something that I had to do back there. And of course, updated in my, was it in the README? Maybe in the, somewhere else that I had to update it, I thought. But anyway, so probably the README, right? Or very top. I thought I had to change it somewhere, but I'll find it later if I did, because I may have just been um, imagining it. Um, so that's how I'm going to demonstrate clarify ownership in this way. It said update your email address to a domain name, which is what I did. Um, the technical issues that it's referring to are the things that I keep bringing up is where they want to enqueue the commands. I'm sorry, enqueue the using queue commands for the CSS files and the JS files. Because I had a lot of it in the front end, and as I mentioned before, I did that just because, I don't know, I would do that sometimes, and I probably should get in the habit of not doing it, but I work so much with PHP that I'll just pass the PHP backend variable to the front end and write into the uh, JavaScript functions. And so where would they be? They actually made a list of where I could do them at, and so it's in the templates. In both the template files, there's only two, and in the main class form. So the class form, the class module does all of pretty much all the logic. And it's talking about adding Q script. So I'll go to, where is this load assets? I think. So here I just what did I do here? I just added more of these load admin assets. I forgot where I made these changes. I have to go back and look at um, my repo and see what the changes were. Or let's look at my notes real quickly. So technical issues. Yes, I've enqueued the JS and CSS files, but I had let some in the front because of the PHP variables being passed directly. I addressed the following files. Oh, and here they are: admin PHP line 161. Admin entries will go there. Line 161, and it's pretty accurate on line count. So if we go to line 161, just as a quick example, I'm not going to go through all of them. Line 161, where are you? That's not an enqueue admin entries. I think, shoot. It's something else. I think I might have moved it or something, but it's referring to probably something like this. Um, yes. So, I guess not line number notwithstanding at this point, I've already made some changes, and now it's just copied over from the original email. So, um, but here's the reason I left it in the front, or I didn't queue it. Is when I try to enqueue it to the JS file, it's not going to recognize as PHP in my code snippet, right, or code, whatever it's called. Um, so that's why I'm keeping it in the front. I can and I will refactor the whole thing and bring in this particular variable, which is, what is it? The REST URL. It's the URL to where this AJAX call is being sent to, right? Um, so there's many ways to just get that without doing this. So that's what that's talking about. Moving on, sanitization, and so I'm just kind of reading. I've copied these guys here. Other details, sanitization, for the register setting. When I register certain options, right, it wants to sanitize, even though basically they're, sorry for the helicopter. Even though they're basically checkboxes and radio buttons, and I guess a lot of times those options could be a string variable, and that's why they require the sanitization. So let's see where those were, if it gave me some examples. So here they all are. Did it, did it. Let me just see if I can go to it real quickly. No, it's just not in here. It's in my class file. So I did a lot of sanitization, but I wanna address this guy. Okay, here they all are. So here's my WP settings function where where I'm registering the settings as they get chosen, selected. And it wanted to include this final callback. So I had to use sanitize text, sanitize checkbox, and basically they were all checkboxes and or text. I got away with, and then one was a boolean that I had to use. Either way, I did sanitize text, sanitize checkbox, and those are the only two functions that keep getting called rather. These two guys right here, sanitize text and sanitize checkbox. So that hopefully satisfies those guys, because that's a real thing that I actually fully accomplish without making up excuses. The missing permission callback. Let me look that up real fast. That's usually in the usually when you make a DB call or other things, and that's kind of what I'm doing here. When I'm sending form data back to be processed and entered into the database, it wants to do a little permissions, make sure that it's not just it's either open to everybody or closed or admin or whatnot. And you don't have to use permissions when you're taking, according to the docs, when you're taking in public data. That's what can you do there? You just really got to watch your own sanitization, as I can try to pronounce it because I'm not from these parts. So here I just did all these permissions, and again handled by a couple of functions. I created a DB permission function and a public permission function. This same case is being used by the public, which my form is going to be used by the public. So the public permission function does just that. It just returns true. It doesn't check anything. Neither one of these checks anything. And again, it's because the public permission, sorry, can't say P words together. The public permission doesn't need any kind of permission. The DB permission should require one, but I'm getting a system. Every time I query the object that's making the DB calls, it's usually just a single variable, not even an array of attributes or anything that things that you're able to do, I can do, and things like that. So I'll review that further, but I'm just saying, hey, no permissions. But I've got the functions in there. All right, very quickly. So all this kind of repeats what I just mentioned, that sometimes if it's public data, you don't need a permission. And it lists all the places that I did that. Here is referring to the last time I submitted this, I included all my JPEGs, and it didn't want that. When you're, just to, heads up guys, right? So just when you're up, uploading it to they're going to, the objective is to get an SVN repository set up with WordPress. Then you're in. At that point, you're in. They've let you in. You're in the club, I guess. And at that point, you can update your files, which I do. I want to update my banner. I want to update the images and all that. So that's where you do that. So they don't want those files now. Finally, I forgot. I guess I had forgotten a couple of these defined absolute paths to make sure that nobody's trying to get in there directly without being logged in, or being in the environment rather. And it shows where this could have been done. It shows the next steps. Bada bing, bada bang. We've already done all that. The last thing I want to do here is, let's see, here I am. I'm going to make this email. The sticking points that I keep referring to are the, again, as we saw, the enqueuing of the JavaScripts and the CSS files, and the permissions with the database. I'm not worried about the permissions with the public usage of the forum, but I think they may have something to say about the database. Even though I'm writing to my own table, that I'm staying away from the posts, the WP posts and the WP meta tables. I'm using my own table. You have to be careful what goes in there. So we'll see what they say. Let me do the quick reply, and then that'll be it for now. So here, what does it say? Maybe I can copy this thing here. Oops, did I copy it? See, they sent it last December, and it's already almost March. So, really getting to this stuff on the very last minute. I don't mean to do that. I just figure I have all the time in the world sometimes. So let me forward this, or rather reply to this. Forward or reply? I will forward to these guys. Dear team, start typing. I won't say dear. And just send it, and that's it. We'll see what they say. So I did resubmit it. Here's the email I got back from them. Email change request. Oh, you know what? It came to my personal email, didn't it? Anyway, I'll find out where it came to. But I got something in reply, and I want to say it's in here, because surely. Um. Mm-mm. Anyway, I'll find it. I'm just a little lost right now. Okay, so that's it. Basically, they sent me that email saying make these corrections. I made the corrections, and I made some pretty important ones that will stick. I addressed all the important ones, and then have some questions about the permissions. Have some questions about enqueuing. If I absolutely have to enqueue all the scripts, I will. I thought that they would kind of allow some kind of an explanation, but I can already tell you that I'm going to have to redo the variables on these guys on the front end stuff. I'm not gonna try to get in. Well, like for example here, um, these variables, which I've prefaced them with the like Siwa and so forth, but they all have to be like prefaced with that. You can't just have regular variables like, I don't know, whatever a variable is in X or whatever. You got to have something that's prefaced by something that's going to differentiate it from any other variables that may appear on that page from other plugins. And I can understand that. All right, that's it for now. Thank you guys.